Hello, welcome to Physical Therapy. My name is Kurt.
And I'm Sam.
Our producer Kim is here as well. Hello, Kimberly.
Hello.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Sam.
So this episode, we're going to be doing something slightly different. Later on, Bobby will be here to talk to us about the brand new release of Primal Fear on 4K. But the first part of this show, Sam and I and Kim are going to pick a movie and watch it together virtually. Sam is in Portland, Kim and I are in LA, and then we're going to get right back on the mics and talk about the film.
I just sent Kurt a couple pictures of my shame piles so we could link up on a release that we both have. And so I'm going into this totally blind. I do not know what we are watching yet.
And I do, and I'll reveal that shortly. But first, Sam, did you watch anything this week? Anything you want to talk about?
I didn't see anything in theaters. It's kind of a bum week with the new Kong Godzilla, and I don't think I have the patience to watch that. So I didn't see anything there, but I watched some stuff at home for the pod, so I don't really want to reveal what it is yet. But yeah, I did watch a lot this week, actually.
Okay, so we'll find out about those.
What about you?
Yeah, the only one I watched that wasn't for the podcast specifically was the Umbrella Blu-ray of Bug, William Friedkin's Bug.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Bug is crazy.
Bug's intense, man.
It's great. It's great. For people not familiar with Bug, it is a 2006 William Friedkin film. He directed The Exorcist and The French Connection.
Sorcerer,
Killer Joe. He's great. And the late, great William Friedkin, we should say. But Bug is based on a play by Tracy Letts, and it stars Ashley Judd, Michael Shannon, and Harry Connick Jr., and it takes place almost entirely in like kind of a roadside motel in the desert where Ashley Judd's character lives and meets a drifter played by Michael Shannon who is under severe paranoia about kind of a military experiment that he claims he was subjected to and is sort of on the run from. And they sort of together go down this spiral of madness and paranoia inside of a motel room where they're both convinced that there are parasites living under their skin. It's
gnarly. It's like a bad drug addiction movie, but where it's like a mind drug.
Yeah, you could definitely like draw parallels between severe kind of addiction paranoia and whatever they're going through. It's like body horror. Ugh, it's creepy.
It feels sweaty and gross and super seedy. Ugh. I saw this in theaters.
Oh, wow.
And I definitely did not understand it. I didn't get it. You know, it was also one of those movies that suffered from a trailer that, you know, have quotes coming up, the scariest movie since The Exorcist. And it's such a different type of movie than The Exorcist that to even compare them is pretty ridiculous in my mind.
Yeah, it's just extreme. It's not even, I mean, it's horrific, but I don't even know if you classify it as a horror movie, you know?
If you were separating it out by genre, where do you think you would put this?
I mean, I guess in horror, but only because I don't know how else to classify it.
Sure. I guess thriller, if you had a thriller section.
Or psychological thriller, I guess. But
yeah,
it is very contained. It feels like a play, but not in a bad way, not in a, you know, a movie adaptation where you're like, can we just go outside? This feels very appropriate to it. And it's early Michael Shannon, or it's one of the first times I kind of remember seeing him. And my God, it's just an unhinged performance from him. And Ashley Judd is also awesome.
He's incredible.
Yeah, he's incredible.
I definitely didn't clock him at the time, but this is definitely the first time I saw him. And now that he's one of my favorite working actors right now, it's sad that I didn't realize it at that time.
This was right around the time of Take Shelter. I think this was first, definitely. But they were, I think, a few years apart. But anyways, that sort of phase of his kind of launched him.
Yeah, Take Shelter, I believe, is 2011.
Yeah.
So I've read the play of Bug. I've never seen the movie, though. But I do know that Michael Shannon played that role on Broadway.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, if people are looking for something a little extreme, highly recommend Bug. And actually today we posted this on our podcast Instagram story, but Tracy Letts is the playwright and the screenwriter of Bug. He's also, people might know him from being the dad in Lady Bird, among some other screen performances. But he's married to Carrie Coon, the great actress, And she was recently on The Tonight Show talking about Tracy Letts having a Blu-ray collection that is apparently like 10,000 titles deep, and he does not allow streaming in their house. So
hell yeah, man.
We got to get Tracy Letts on this show.
One of us. One of us.
That is definitely my new goal. Getting Tracy Letts on this show and having 10,000 titles.
I would like to know how he stores them.
I know.
What if it's just a wall of their house that's just like shelves, and he just slides around like on one of those old school ladders that has like the wheels on the top, like in a library?
Very Beauty and the Beast, like large library.
Singing. I feel like we need to introduce Tracy Letts to the concept of a shame pile. I wonder if he has one.
He's like, oh yeah, this entire wall right here. Never seen any of those.
A shame wall.
Tracy, do you have a shame pile? He just hands you an address.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk some announcements too here because, oh baby. Okay, so
yeah,
Sam, god damn it.
A big one got announced this morning.
I know, and honestly, I kid you not, it was going to be my wish tonight. I was so fucking pissed. I was so pissed, and I can't believe that I didn't do it yet. So,
oh my god.
One of my favorite movies is Chinatown, and I have been hoping and praying that was going to come out this year because it's the 50th anniversary.
Yep.
So I figured, okay, I'm going to put that in my wishes and it's going to come true. And we can't wait for someone's wish to come true because, I don't know, they'll be like a sound effect, a party. We're going to have a party on the show anytime that happens.
One balloon will drop
one
from
balloon
the ceiling.
Yeah. We're going to license the audio for one balloon drop. But Chinatown finally got announced and Paramount Presents is putting it out in, I believe, June, a 4K of it. And what's kind of interesting about this release is it's a 2-pack, essentially, of a 4K of Chinatown and a Blu-ray of The Two Jakes, which is the sequel to Chinatown, directed by Jack Nicholson.
Have you seen it?
I haven't not seen it.
Neither have I. I'm excited.
I don't know how good it's supposed to be, but
I think it's supposed to be bad.
Yeah, but I'll take it. I'll take that second disc. I'll check it out.
It's also, the disc isn't housed in another case. It's in the same case as Chinatown.
Correct, yeah. So it's actually like the exact same packaging as Primal Fear,
which we'll be talking about in a little bit.
Yeah.
And those Paramount Presents releases are nice. I like them.
My only criticism with them is that the slip case is sort of always kind of bent. Like not, you know what I'm saying? It's like
I've been trying to like
angled.
Push it the other way. Yeah.
I think it's because they're an interesting slipcase in where like they have like a flap, I guess, front cover that opens. And so every one of them has like the theatrical poster printed on the inside. It basically opens like a book, but it makes it much thicker than a normal slip sleeve. And I think that's kind of why they're like that. But yeah. I respect Paramount Presents.
I've never gotten one that hasn't been bent or angled in some way, but I think you're right.
Yeah, it's not like a defect. It's just a result of the choice.
I resisted the urge all morning to text you because I got up and I was checking some stuff on my computer and I went to Blu-ray.com and I saw it listed there and I wanted to text you so badly, but yeah, that made me laugh.
And then, Sam, do you know this movie, this Joe Dante movie, Matinee?
I know of it. I've not seen it, but I know it's one of those movies that I think a lot of people saw growing up. I'm pretty sure it's PG.
Yeah, it's a childhood favorite. It's so good.
Yeah, I've not seen it. I think Arrow put it out a couple years ago, but it looks like Scream is putting it out now.
No, we actually have the Shout of it, Sam. It's Shout, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a Shout Select Blu-ray of it that we have, but they are re-releasing it on 4K, which they announced today. So I think you'd really like that, Sam. I know you're a Joe Dante fan, and it's like a movie lovers movie. Like the plot involves like a theater. And Kim, tell us a little bit about Matinee.
It takes place in Florida, in like the Florida Keys, in 1962. Yeah, it's about this kid who loves monster movies and who lives and grows up on an Air Force base. His favorite director is coming to town and is doing this huge special screening of his new movie called Mant. And it's about a giant man ant, but it's a play on them.
Yeah, them.
It's really fun. It's so sweet and a perfect movie if you love movies.
I'll check that out. That's the 4K then that's coming?
Yep, from Shout.
Yeah, cool.
What else did they announce? RoboCop 2, the RoboCop remake.
Yeah, and something else that's a little... I wasn't too impressed.
Sam, anything you saw announced you're excited for?
Yeah, the new Vinegar Syndrome stuff got announced today, which some of it looks pretty cool. I don't know which story, which is their 4K UHD for the month. It's an Italian-American production, and the story is apparently the following. Following the tragic death of their parents, a sister and brother take a group of friends to rural Florida to stay at a rickety old house which they've recently inherited. Little do the youngsters realize that some decades before, a woman suspected of being a witch was burned at the stake on the property by zealous townsfolk. With the group settled in for a few days of drinking and partying, the demonic forces that reside in the house are quick to take hold, possessing a number of teens and prompting them to take up knives, axes, and chainsaws against their friends in an orgy of death and dismemberment.
Fuck yeah.
That sounds awesome, and I cannot wait.
Florida Witches.
Sign me up.
The other one I saw that I was excited for was Kino's doing a Blu-ray of Bottoms from last year.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. I liked that.
I loved that one.
It's not necessarily a release, but we should highlight that Kino Lorber is having a March Madness sale right now that goes till April 22nd. And their copy of Kindergarten Cop, which was the first episode on this show, is on sale for $17, I think, for the 4K. And it's definitely worth it if anybody was on the fence about that.
Join us, people. Join us. Okay. As discussed, I'm going to choose a title from Sam's Shame Pile, and we are going to take a break and watch that movie right now, and then jump right back on the mics and talk about it.
I think it's a shared shame pile at this point, because you also have a copy of the movie that we're watching.
Correct. It is also in my shame pile. Yes.
There you go. There you go.
From our shared shame pile.
Joint shame.
Yeah. What you got for me?
Oh, Sam.
Oh, no.
So I have you trapped, and you have to do what I tell you right now, and I'm really excited.
Oh, God.
I'm really excited, but it's in your shame pile, so it's not my fucking fault.
Yeah. Okay.
For Sam's first time,
I think I know what it's going to be.
first time in his life, Sam and I and Kim are about to watch Steven Spielberg's classic.
I knew it. I knew it.
E.T. the Extra Terrestrial.
Oh, okay.
Sam, how have you not seen this?
I don't know. It's weird because we definitely had the Indiana Jones movies. Well, not Temple of Doom, but we had the other two and Jurassic Park. Like, we liked Spielberg movies. For whatever reason, I don't think my mom liked this movie or has seen this movie, so we didn't get a copy of it.
Never rented it, never saw it at a sleepover.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can't remember seeing it at any, like, friend's house. If we're thinking about being a kid, like, those movie posters and the VHS covers, like, that really kind of popped are the ones that get your eye. The E.T. one's pretty fucking plain.
Really? I mean, it's so, like,
I mean, it's iconic, yeah, but I don't know. It's not Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah. Okay. Well, geez. This is special, Sam. I've been trying for a long time.
Yeah, this is it.
You're trapped.
I know. It's brutal. I did not think I was going to see E.T. today. I'll tell you that much right now.
So here we go. Everybody that wants to join in on this, go ahead and pause the podcast and come back after you've watched E.T.
I'll probably have some really bad takes.
No, you're going to love it.
Well, maybe not. We'll see. We'll find out.
Who knows?
All right, so we'll be back. The next time you hear our voices, it will be in the future. We are back.
Boom. We did it.
We just watched E.T. the Extra Terrestrial, Steven Spielberg's 1982 classic. Kim and I have been sobbing.
I'm so sad.
Clutching cats and sobbing.
Ugh.
Sam, how'd we do?
I teared up. I felt one tear roll down my cheek. Yeah, I liked it. You know, I mean, listen, I'm not going to be the one person who goes on a podcast and like shits all over E.T. But it's good. I mean, Spielberg, when he's on, right? There's nobody like him.
Was it what you expected? What did you expect?
I'm not sure. I think, again, it's like that thing we talked about a couple of weeks ago where it's like I feel like I knew that movie just because I exist in the culture in which it exists in. I don't think it played out exactly like I thought it was going to, which I think is cool.
Kim, how you doing?
Oh, I'm a mess. That movie, I haven't seen it in a long time because of this, because it made me cry like crazy when I was a kid. So yeah, here I am.
One of our cats, Al Capone, kind of looks like E.T.
Yeah, he reminds me of E.T.
Oh, no.
His little eyes.
That's where this is coming from.
Oh, yeah, that's where this is coming from.
Okay.
I just can't. Yeah, I'm emotionally like dead right now.
Kim and Al Capone are also arguably connected in a similar way where
Oh, wow.
when Al Capone the cat gets drunk, Kim gets drunk. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's what I was going to say, too.
She feels his feelings.
Yeah.
In what kid's movie is a kid getting drunk these days?
Absurd.
Oh my God.
A kid gets drunk and then there's like an homage to the John Ford film
Yeah.
A Quiet Man, and he kisses the girl. We were very caught up in the fact that they live in the valley, but there's a cornfield behind their house and also just a mountain right away.
Maybe specify the valley.
The valley in LA, like the San Fernando Valley, seems to be where they live, which is basically just like a fucking desert basin without cornfields.
I don't think a lot of corn is grown in the California region.
No.
They leave Iowa in their backyard and walk out into the San Fernando Valley and ride their bikes to the redwoods. But I've never really questioned it until now. I don't know. As a kid, I was very fine with it.
Yeah, okay. You know what? Also, around that scene, because it was cracking me up, the brightest light of all time is in that shed, and like nobody turns it off at night or like seems to care at all. It's insanely bright.
They all just shut their rainbow colored blinds.
Yeah. It's wild, man. Spielberg, he's so good at just making us care about these things that you're like, E.T. itself is so gross looking. It's just like a skin sack with like folds and stuff in it. Like, why should we care about it? But he's really great at that.
Yeah.
His movies chug, like they move for a 2-hour movie from 82. Sometimes that can feel a bit longer.
Yeah.
And it like his movies are just lean for how long they are. They move along really well.
I really noticed this time, and I thought this was such a cool choice, that he didn't show any grown-ups' faces until the guy with the keys at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just the mom that you saw.
It's like Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it was
totally.
such a good idea to make them kind of like villains in a way, the grown-ups.
To your point about them not dragging, I mean, it's just everything is so intentional. Every single frame is so intentional. It's just like, unless you're dealing with a really boring story like that, it's gonna be a recipe for success and entertainment, I think, most of the time. And you can't look away, he's got you.
He's great at that. I mean, he's truly great at that.
The finale is stunning.
It's great. That bike, bike chase is incredible.
It's awesome.
My favorite music cue of score of all time is when like the scientists and the mom get to the van which they've stolen, and they're all running toward it, and the mom's like, no guns, and they get to the back and they're all gone, and all the scientists are like looking in the back of the van, and the mom steps into a close-up and the strings like hit like dun, 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 like the violins hit, and it cuts to the back of the kids on the bikes. Ooh.
Yeah.
So great.
It's great.
It's something I think that just plays really well when you're young. Like, that's what I think about every time I see it, is just like the scenes out back by the shed and the Reese's Pieces and the little cues and stuff, like with the keys. It just reminds me of how scary it was. It really, when you're little, it's like, oh my God.
I can't imagine seeing that movie as like a child. It's like scary.
Terrifying.
I'm always fascinated by like people who can deliver essentially like horror movies for kids, like or horror scenes for kids, where it doesn't scare you so badly that it's like, oh my God, turn this off. But it draws you in such a special way. There's, a handful of them. And Spielberg is near the top of that, Jurassic Park, things like that. Without a doubt.
I mean, and that's, from one of my picks a couple weeks ago, like that's one of the things that I love about Monster Squad is that like, what are those movies these days? I don't know. But like, there were parts of this for sure that would have really scared me when I was a kid. I mean, I think I would have liked it, but I think it would have like really scared me.
Yeah.
I mean, what is your history with this movie? Do you remember seeing it for the first time?
Not for the first time. It just was sort of ubiquitous. Like, I guess we either had it on VHS. We must have. I don't know. We either owned it or rented it all the time. But yeah, definitely a VHS kind of staple growing up. I don't remember when I saw it for the first time, but I just remember being young enough that like it freaked me out.
Kim, what about you? Did you guys watch it a lot when you were kids?
We didn't watch it a lot, but my dad had it on Laserdisc. So
hell yeah.
But it would make everyone so upset. So it was a rare screening because we would just be so into it. And
it's really upsetting.
Yeah.
It's sweet. It's just sad.
It is. I mean, without a doubt.
It's devastating.
I didn't know. I mean, spoiler alert for E.T. But
you're the last person in the world who hasn't seen it, Grant, so it's okay.
I didn't know that he fake died in the middle, and I was like, oh shit, how are they going to come back from this? Also, part of me is like, man, can somebody just pour some water on this guy? It looks like he's dried out.
Yeah. Like I was drinking water for sure during that part.
I know. Do we think movies like this, like E.T., that kind of level of adventure, slightly scary, but not horror oriented, like, are those movies made anymore, or are they directed at kids?
I feel like past Twilight and Harry Potter, there's not anything like that anymore.
That Uncharted movie like tried to do that, tried to be kind of like an adventure film, but it was all just green screens and CGI.
I still feel like that's an older cast, though. I think it's the fact that the kids are so young and so good. The kids are so
Henry Thomas
good.
is incredible.
It's incredible. Drew Barrymore.
And little Drew.
Yeah, Drew's so good.
Oh my God.
There is a behind-the-scenes documentary that was made at the time that offers just really fly-on-the-wall footage of Spielberg directing on the set, and especially directing the kids. And it's really amazing, like the way he worked with them and the performances that he pulled out of them. It's I think what sets it apart. I mean, I think it's like this, the horror stuff is, in that really special tonal zone, but it's the fact that the kids are so believable and so charming, and their emotions are so adult, like, human, complex.
Yeah.
That's what makes E.T. really good.
It's like the kids' version of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is one of my favorite films.
Oh, I should point out that the last time that I was flying back to Portland from LA, the man sitting in front of me in the plane was none other than Henry Thomas.
Yes, the young man from E.T.
That's right. Elliot.
Also from Psycho, 3? Psycho 4?
I think he said, yeah.
Wow.
Shout out to Henry Thomas. He's great.
Dude, Henry Thomas. Let's get that guy on the show.
He's a badass.
Also, Dee Wallace. Dee Wallace rules, dude.
Who's that, the mom?
The mom.
Yeah. Okay, what is she in?
The Howling.
Oh, The Howling. Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what we watched. Yes. She's great.
And she's also the landlady in House of the Devil.
Whoa.
Like in the very first scene, Samantha's like renting an apartment, and she's renting it from Dee Wallace.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
She's amazing.
Yeah, Dee Wallace is great, and she's great in this.
She's in Cujo as well, which I've never seen.
Oh, shit. She is in Cujo, yeah.
What's up with Cujo?
Cujo is...
It's the killer dog movie, right?
Yeah. The book is not... I've read the book twice, and I don't like it. I don't know why I've read it twice, but...
That's insane.
Sam's a big Stephen King head. Sam, I just ordered Salem's Lot. Yes, Salem's Lot.
The Blu-ray?
The book.
Oh, the book is so good. It's my favorite.
Oh, cool. Yeah, my friend Eric told me to check it out. So
it's great.
Here it comes.
We should. I'm really hoping.
Is there a movie?
There is a movie. I believe Tobe Hooper, who did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that we'll be getting a 4K of it soon.
Good to know.
But I don't have that confirmed. But I would love to do it on a show. I think it was a TV movie.
Okay.
That got re-edited and maybe released uncut somewhere else. It's cool. It's fun. I've seen it a couple times. It's so funny to think about John Carpenter's The Thing coming out 2 weeks after this.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
And it tanking because everyone was in the mood for a nice alien.
Mm-hmm.
And Carpenter's The Thing.
It's quite opposite.
Yeah. And then by the end of that movie, it's the world's probably ending.
Yeah. But such a good movie, that one. That's unfortunate they're back to back.
I can't imagine. What a knockout for The Thing, just having to come out right after that.
Yeah, June 11th, 1982 is E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and then June 25th is The Thing. That's crazy.
That is brutal. And E.T. was probably the number one movie in theaters for
a while.
3 months?
Yeah, I would think.
The Thing's budget, according to Wikipedia, is $15 million, which is 5 more than E.T. And The Thing...
Wow.
The Thing made about 20, a little less than 20 in North America. And then the box office listed for E.T., which probably includes like a shitload of re-releases, but is $792 million.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh.
Wow, that's brutal. Shout out to John Carpenter.
Shout out to John. I think he's doing okay.
No, he's great.
What version did you watch? What edition do you have?
I have this is from my sister from a birthday. I just have literally the anniversary edition.
A Blu-ray?
That's a Blu-ray, DVD, digital, and ultraviolet. So if anybody wants that ultraviolet code, let me know. I'll be happy to pass it off.
DM us. A really good 4K too. I highly recommend if people don't have it and are interested. All the effects and the lighting, especially, and like the atmosphere. There's so much like atmosphere in the air. You know, they're putting a lot of like haze inside and outside in the house and stuff. You can really see all that detail on 4K.
Kurt, you said there's a couple different editions of it. Do you know why? Is it just like a bunch of anniversary stuff?
Let's look real quick. It is, but it seems like there's a 40th anniversary and a 35th anniversary, and they are slightly different transfers. I have the 35th anniversary, but for my money, pretty good.
I'm sticking with the blue, but I'm definitely keeping it. It's definitely going on the shelf.
Well, Sam, congratulations. You know, I'm happy that you're on the other side of this. I just think it's essential viewing, and you did it. You finally did it.
I'm happy you forced that choice upon me.
It seemed like the right call.
And honestly, it's like out now.
It's out.
Now I can finally just throw it into the sewer. No, I'm just kidding. I'm keeping ET.
For the listeners, like taking something out of your shame shelf, especially if it's been there for 6 years, it's like the sensation of like finally picking that thing out of your teeth. Like it's just the relief you feel.
You pull a movie out of your pile and you watch it and you go, I don't like this, I'm getting rid of it, or I like it, I can't wait to put it on my shelf. But it's like the decision is made.
Mm-hmm.
And something comes out of one list. Check mark, baby.
And I guarantee you, before I fall asleep, I'll have ordered 3 things to take its place.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
E.T., we did it.
We did it.
Let's talk to Bobby. All right, we are here with Bobby. Hi, Bobby.
Hey, guys.
We're going to talk a little bit about the brand new 4K release from Paramount Presents of Primal Fear.
Dude, Primal Fear rules.
Yes, it does. Primal Fear is a 1996 courtroom thriller starring Richard Gere, Laura Linney, and in his feature film debut, a young Edward Norton. Had you guys seen this before?
Yeah, this was like a Mary Kay special. My mom showed us this.
Moms love this movie.
Dude, Mo rolled in hard. She put this on for Ben and I. It was after Fight Club because we knew who Edward Norton was.
Okay.
So we were like in 7th grade when that came out, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Maybe right around then. And this one blew our minds. This was great. I hadn't seen this in a minute, but man, this movie rules.
Yes, I had seen Primal Fear. I think it had been when I was in high school, rented it on DVD, and I had seen it maybe 15 years ago. And rewatching it now, it was certainly such a phenomenal showcase for, I think, all the actors to varying degrees, even if it's just establishing their own star persona's archetype. Richard Gere, Laura Linney, you know, it's packed with great faces. Ed Norton is just sensational. And I think the movie sometimes cheapens itself to showcase a moment that defines a brilliant performance. And I think it sacrifices the authenticity of everything you watched before. But I had fun in how well established and 90s aesthetic it was. I think the way it moved as a blockbuster, this was a hit. And
best-selling novel.
Yeah, like this is high concept, man.
It's also got that score that just like incredible 90. I think it's James Newton Howard who does the score.
But there's like the main theme song is not score. It's that main theme, is like actually a track from somewhere, like world music.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That they use as score, which is really cool. But it sounds like a 90s movie.
But it's got that like screaming guitar like throughout the whole thing. It's like, wow. Like that is so of a period.
So Primal Fear, for people who may have not seen it, is about a high-powered Chicago defense attorney played by Richard Gere, who after the murder of, what is he, Bobby, an archbishop?
Yeah, it's an archbishop. He's seen fleeing a crime scene involving a murder.
Edward Norton is, yeah.
Yeah, Edward Norton is.
Who is an altar boy, and he is arrested, covered in blood after the grisly murder of an archbishop in Chicago. And who steps in to represent him is Richard Gere. But Edward Norton's character is, I think he's from Kentucky, and he has a stutter and is, claiming innocence and just a very helpless person in way over his head who needs help.
Richard Gere's like a egotistical prick. Like he takes this on as a like star-studded, hey, I'm gonna win this case and let me be all over the cover of all the magazines.
Exactly. And that's how it starts. And there's a lot of twists and turns in Primal Fear. We're not going to go all the way here, but if you haven't seen Primal Fear and you want a pure experience, check it out. It's a great staple of the 90s thrillers. But to be fair, like you kind of have to at least get into like the first hour, little bit past the first hour to really talk about why Primal Fear is fucking awesome. So as we mentioned, this is Edward Norton's first film, and one of the aspects of production that a lot of time is spent on in the supplemental features of this release and previous releases. To be fair, I think all of the supplementals on this 4K are from the previous release from several years ago on Blu-ray. But a lot of time is spent on the casting, and the big story with Primal Fear in 1996 was that it was basically offered to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He passed on it twice.
Wow.
Essentially. I think he passed and then started circling it again and then ultimately passed. And it's interesting because the director Gregory Hoblit talks about how they were sort of on pins and needles for Leo, but ultimately they were all kind of relieved when he passed because there is a sense of anonymity from Edward Norton when this movie came out that really plays into the satisfaction of sitting in the audience for the first time when you see Primal Fear, especially if you saw it in 1996. And they basically looked across the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom, seeing over 2,000 people trying to cast the role. A lot of actors auditioned, I think like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and that kind of generation were like, everyone wanted this role. And ultimately they discovered Edward Norton in New York City. So here we go. So again, bail right now if you want a fully pure experience of watching Primal Fear. But Edward Norton's character, Aaron Stampler, about halfway through the movie, there's a scene in which Richard Gere is confronting him in his jail cell about having withheld information from him. And he provokes him in such a way that Edward Norton's character, Aaron Stampler, essentially snaps and becomes the other side of his sort of split personality, who is someone he calls Roy. And Roy is articulate and mean and scary and violent, all with Richard Gere in this one scene. This all comes out. And the shock of the duality of performance from Edward Norton, which both of which are so amazing, and the reaction of Richard Gere to the shift in this kid he's, defending in this jail cell scene. It's probably a 10-minute scene. It is one of the great scenes of the 90s. Like, it is so startling and so intense and just absolutely pulls the rug out from under you in a way that I think just made it a classic. And for the rest of the film, Richard Gere is sort of dealing with the fact that he realizes now that Roy has confessed to this murder and he has to figure out how to acquit Aaron from being, sentenced to the death penalty, because in a court of law, you're not able to change your plea to insanity halfway through a trial without being disbarred. So yeah, I mean, to me, guys, that's just like, that's Primal Fear. That scene, it hits the same every time I see it.
Yeah, I mean, it is the quintessential scene of the movie, right? It makes the whole thing work. And the minute that scene happens in the movie, you feel the movie speed up again. Mm-hmm. It picks up pace. You can't wait to see where they go with this because it changes everything.
It's a new problem that's introduced that really...
But it's not a new problem that feels tacked on or cheap. The reveal of this as the problem is awesome.
Yes.
It reframes everything you've already been invested in and just makes you triple down on it.
Without a doubt.
Because you really care about Aaron Stampler at that point. He's a victim, but he's also guilty.
And the things you figure out through the movie about what happened with the Archbishop and everything else is it pours way more sympathy to Aaron than it doesn't. Mm-hmm. We don't get fun legal thrillers like this anymore.
Yeah, there's great courtroom showdown scenes between Laura Linney and Richard Gere.
And it's just, the script is smart, it's quick, it's fun. The reveals are awesome.
And they keep going. I think that's where maybe I'm still trying to figure out how to feel about each of those reveals, because it changes the game and it also changes the frame that you were given. The thing I loved about following this legal drama through, right? It's quick, it's snappy. These characters are in high stakes environments, and the movie ends in a really lovely kind of hard boiled, like a noir, but not really. There's a melancholy to it, and there's a real loss at the end that makes it feel even more tragic, I think, in the way that those really cynical, dark, hard-boiled detective movies do and did. But it also reminded me a little bit of Michael Clayton. Michael Clayton is far superior, but just in the way that, not the twist necessarily, but what is the payoff in the end if now you're sitting with all of these really awful views of humanity.
And it comes back to his character in a really great way. For a movie that's sort of remembered, I guess, for its twists and turns, it's really rich in characters. And
yeah, it is.
Ultimately, the ending is wonderfully tied back to Richard Gere's character and what's been set up for him throughout.
It's a really great city movie, and that city happens to be Chicago, and it's a great Chicago movie, but it's this kind of feel at the end of the movie of it's just another day in the city, right? Because there's still all this weird corruption going on with land sales. It's really kind of raw and a little bitter, but it does, Bobby, to your point, it feels like an old gumshoe detective story that gets kind of wrapped up in the moonlight, although this one just happens to be broad daylight.
And he's alone. There's just sort of that
it's that great framed shot of him, right?
Yeah.
Incredible last couple shots. One other thing about Norton that's really interesting is the stutter was not in the book or the script. That's something he brought to the audition.
That's incredible.
Incredible. I mean, it sounds kind of cliche, he'll stutter, but it is so effective. And
it works so well in this.
He's something else. So yeah, this was re-released very recently by Paramount Presents on 4K. I didn't own this, and I'm thrilled to own it. If you already have this on Blu-ray, I do not think it's totally worth upgrading, to be honest.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, the picture quality is fine, and the supplementals, as far as I can tell, are pretty recycled from the last edition.
If not the exact same. It's not the best looking disc I've seen thus far.
You know what's funny is, did you know that it's Michael Chapman, the same DP as Kindergarten Cop?
Oh my God, I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
This is actually now just a Michael Chapman podcast.
It really basically has become that, but Kindergarten Cop takes the cake in terms of the visual presentation. Kimmy, what'd you think? This was your first time.
Oh, cool, Kim.
Oh, I loved it. But yeah, I had the same issues. The next morning, I was like, wait a minute.
Did that movie make any sense?
It doesn't really.
Wait, Kim, did you lose your mind, though, at the reveal?
Oh, I lost it. And we haven't even talked about Frances McDormand in this.
Oh, yeah, so good.
She
or Alfre
sells
Woodard.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Frances McDormand. It is it's so fun watching all these familiar faces. And then the linchpin of all of this is Edward Norton. And no one's ever seen him before. And he's playing all these characters that were like, I don't know what this guy's baseline is, so this is all kind of wacky and exciting.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it felt like part one of Fight Club of his character in that, in a way that's really interesting. I mean, he's just like, he's a star. Like, immediately you're just like, oh my God, this guy.
You saw him and you're like, that guy's going to be the Incredible Hulk one day.
I'm a big Ed Norton fan. He's so good. Birdman.
Oh, he's great in Birdman.
I mean, him with Wes Anderson is fantastic too. I mean, yeah, he's just like...
Rounders.
He's a star.
He's a star.
Doesn't he play an uncredited leper in Kingdom of Heaven?
Oh, shit.
By your favorite director, Sir
I've never
Ridley?
seen it. Never seen it.
What?
Yeah. I've never seen Kingdom of Heaven.
Yo, that director's cut's supposed to be tight.
That's what I hear.
What are you waiting for? A 4K?
4 hours? I don't know.
Exactly.
Oh, maybe 4K.
4 hours and the ability to give a shit.
Sometimes we have to go to Little Ratchet.
Sam, you mentioned it being a good Chicago movie. I was wondering this while I was watching it based on the production design, which I'll talk about in a second, but they actually didn't shoot very long in Chicago. It was only some exteriors for, I think they said like a week and a half or something.
Wow.
And the rest of it is shot in like Glendale or like stages. But
These motherfuckers.
I started to wonder when like every single piece of artwork in someone's interior location or like business place or home was some kind of Chicago poster, or like every mug they're drinking out of has like Chicago on it. And I was like, wait a second, are you trying to extra convince me that we're in Chicago?
Now
right
that you say that, I remember a character at the law firm like drinking a coffee out of a mug that just says Chicago on it.
Yeah. Everybody walks in the room and like, geez, another beautiful day in Chicago.
Damn. Yeah, because it's unfortunate because like that, the first stuff with the train, and when he goes to that bar with the old style sign outside of it, that's such a Chicago bar.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's some great exterior stuff that really make it feel like a great Chicago movie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even like, well, you know, of course it's so much cheaper to shoot that interior stuff just on a stage. Dang, what a bummer, but that's funny.
I think they were like, you can have 25% of the days The Fugitive had.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, all right,
yeah,
we'll do it. Anything else on Primal Fear? People got to see this movie. If you've never seen this movie.
Yeah, it's a must watch.
Totally.
It's just, I don't know. What is it?
It's an airport novel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With high production value.
It's a great time. The characters are great. I'm not the biggest Richard Gere fan, and I loved him in this. I thought that he played himself basically, so he was great.
Yeah, I don't love Richard Gere, but he's so like, sometimes I'm like, well, thanks for just being consistent.
I fully disagree, folks. I think that he's really good in this movie.
Oh yeah, he's good.
I think he's good in this too.
Moms love him, but Kim, you need to fasten your seatbelt because we're about to go down a real gear ride in this house.
I've seen a lot of his movies, and he's fine.
I agree with you, Kim.
All right, everyone, before we go, it's time to wish for movies to come out on physical media on a format that they do not already exist. So let's get spooky, let's get witchy, and let's wish.
Oh my God.
I wish for Margot at the Wedding on Blu-ray.
I wish for Django Unchained on 4K.
I wish for The Hours on Blu-ray.
Who directed The Hours, Bobby?
Stephen Daldry.
What else did Stephen Daldry direct?
Well, his first 3 movies he made, he was nominated for Best Director.
Wow.
And that's Bully Elliot.
Oh.
And then The Hours. And then The Reader.
Yeah, okay.
And then his 4th one was up for Best Picture, but not Director. And that's Extremely Loud. Incredibly close.
Oh, wow.
Not very good, but...
Good book. Mine is also a Nicole Kidman movie.
Yeah.
It is Margot at the Wedding, which is directed by Noah Baumbach. It is his follow-up to The Squid and the Whale. And it's Nicole Kidman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Jack Black.
It's weird. It's really weird.
That's really, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a kind of bizarre family drama taking place at like a lakeside home in which 2 sisters are really mean to each other.
They're really mean to each other. It's really, Nicole Kidman, it's like in her era. I think it's her most interesting era, which is like the late 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like 06, 05, 08, 9.
Yeah, 06 or 07, I think, is when this one was.
Yeah, like that. She was doing all the cool stuff, all the art house stuff.
Samuel, Django Unchained.
Yeah, man, we talked about it on this show before, but I had a shitty case that drove me insane, so I sold it, and now I want a better one. So I would love if Arrow got a big box of that going. I'll take a Criterion. Criterion's never done a Tarantino.
No, I wouldn't cross your fingers on a boutique, but I bet you that will come out.
I'm sure it will. It'd be cool if it came out on a boutique. A boutique.
The issue, too, is it lapse. It's like not part of the Miramax buy. And it's not quite Lionsgate because it was the Weinstein Company. So there's kind of an onslaught of movies that are lost in the...
I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow bought back the rights to those movies and then gave them to a boutique.
Absolutely.
That'd be sick.
All right, we did it. That's it for another episode. Thank you all for listening. Please leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're hearing this. Check us out on Instagram at PT Movie Pod. There'll be artwork from these movies and updates throughout the week. We're working on a website that'll be up shortly. There'll be a bunch of information on there with the titles we've talked about throughout the episodes and all of our recommendations. Thank you to Patrick Laban for making our badass music. Thank you to Kimberly for producing our show. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Bobby.